Got 1 second, and we're getting ready to go. Let's get this show going.
Friend. It's so good to see you again. There's no one like you. You can do anything you put your mind to. Just a thing you thought you should know. Are you ready? 'Cause here we go. Wonder Friends. Wonder Friends. Wonder Friends. It's time for Wonder Friends Show. Right.
What is going on, everybody? How's everybody doing today? It is Wednesday, and it is time to celebrate the weirdness that is you, the weirdness that is everybody. If you ever feel like there's something wrong with you for being weird, or somebody says you're weird, good. That's a good thing, right? Because I truly believe that weird people change the world. And what we do on Wednesdays, if you're new to this show, is we focus on a moment in weird history. And the person that we're going to talk about today was born in Edinburgh, Scotland, okay, on March 3rd, 1847. Now, he died on August 2nd of 1922. So it's been a while ago. But the thing that this person created is something that every one of us use all the time. Now, here's the background about this. So when this person was a kid, he was super curious, and he would gather all kinds of plants, and he would do all these different experiments, right? And at age 12, he invented this thing that was kind of like a flour comb. It would husk like the grains. That's how they make flour. It's a grain and then it's ground down. But it was this comb that would husk this thing, and he invented this thing for his best friend's family's flour mill that they used for a long time. Then his mom was slowly like losing her hearing, and she started to kind of lose her hearing when she was 12. But this kid started getting really kind of like interested in his mom losing his hearing, and it drove him to think about things. And his family was also associated with elocution. What that means is the ability to speak clear, right? Using verbal communication to speak very clear so everybody can handle and understand that, specifically with like pronouncing the words correctly, using the right articulation, basically being able to speak to things and be understood. Now, he learned from his dad was this technique of how to take and identify a symbol and a sound and kind of form your own sort of like words, right? Now, here's the cool part. Like, because he was really into the idea of how to help his mom, I think is really what it really came down to. He spent a long time like working with people that were deaf and coming up with different ways of experimenting with sound. So in 1872, he's experimenting with all these sounds in this thing called a harmonic telegraph, right? And it's the idea they started experimenting with this machine that could take sound and draw like little symbols on glass and turn those symbols into words so that way they could be understood. In 1875, he invented this thing that became known as the telephone, and his name was Alexander Graham Bell. Now, here's what's kind of cool if you ask me. If somebody ever said that when he was a kid and he said that he wanted to be able to talk across the world to somebody, do you think that people thought he was weird? Do you think that people thought he was abnormal? That people thought that maybe there was something cuckoo about this guy, right? Because that didn't exist. And a lot of times what people will do is if something doesn't exist, they'll tap a label on you that you're weird, or that that's just that person, that's just the way they are, or they're going to come up with something like that. Now, here's the cool part. Now, if it wasn't for all these weird people that are willing to push the edges of what is possible, then there wouldn't be a lot of the things that we all really, really like. Could you imagine a world without a telephone? Probably, I would guess that a lot of you right now are watching me on a phone. Imagine a world where that doesn't exist. Imagine not being able to talk to somebody, your grandma or your grandpa or your dad or your mom or somebody like this when you're stuck where we are and it didn't exist. You wouldn't be able to talk to them. Just imagine what that world would be like. It is because weird people. Now, here's the thing that I want you guys to really think about how it actually means to you. Now, if there's something that you want to do, one of the big things that you listened to when I was telling you this story about him is that he was interested in something. He was excited about something. He wanted to probably, I'm going to guess that a lot of it was he wanted to try to help his mom and solve a problem, right? Because it was something he cared about, something he wanted to do. Now, instead of just saying that he wanted to do that, he had a dream, and he told other people those dreams. And that attracted other people that wanted to see his dream come true too. The same thing will happen to you. Even if your dream is as crazy and outlandish and it doesn't make any sense to anybody else, I want to just let you guys know that you will find people that will believe in your dream. Don't get discouraged by people telling you that you're weird, or there's something wrong with you, or that you have some crazy dream, because they can't see it come true. But you can see it. If you can imagine anything, I'm telling you, there is a way to make it come true. If you can imagine it, you can make it. Trust me, where I grew up, when I said I wanted to be a writer and I wanted to make cartoons, there was nobody around there to tell me how to do it. There was nobody that, I didn't have a lot of people of encouraging me, telling me that, oh yeah, you can do that. But I believed it, and I tried and I tried and tried. Just like we talk about a lot of times. Most of the time, it's about showing up. It's showing up on the days that you don't want to do it, because the days you do want to do it, it's easy. It's, if you want to draw, it's super easy because you love it to show up. And there's some days that you don't want to do it. Right? But if you show up and do it, then it gets easier and easier. Those days that are good are made for those days where it's hard. Because when it's hard is when you're going to need to know all the joy, all the love, all the stuff that it brings you is what's going to help all those bad days turn into good days. So that is why it's important to be weird. Embrace your weird. Don't be afraid of it. It's cool to be different than everybody else, because when you're different than everybody else, that means that you got something special inside you and you're believing it, and you're going to turn it into something pretty magical. So our supplies today, guys, all we're going to need today is just our paper and our markers. That's what we're going to need. And I want you guys to get all your stuff together, because what we're going to do is we're going to draw here. So let's get ready to draw. Let's draw. So papers, markers, all that good stuff like that. And if you're new to the show, what we start out with is our mindful minute. And all those things is I want to take a second just to get your mind ready to create. It's super simple if you think about it in a way that you do when you're getting ready to do some exercises. You get warmed up, right? We got to get our brain warmed up the same way. And how we're going to do this is I want you to just take a big breath. And you can kind of say this out loud or to yourself. It's 100% up to you. I am me. I do matter, and I am super fantastic. Now, we tell ourselves these things because there's times where we don't believe that. And there's times where we can kind of feel like that the world's against us and things just don't work out the way that we want. But if you can remind yourself that you're super fantastic, you understand that sometimes the good and the bad are completely normal in life. Sometimes things don't always go your way, and that's just the way things work. So just remind yourself that things will get better. I am super fantastic. I do matter. All that stuff like that. And the other thing we do is we get our hands stretched. So get those hands a big old stretch. You could finger fight if you want. That's always a fun thing. And maybe you can do some like jumping push-ups. These are called hand burpees, I think, what we're going to do. And we're going to get ready to do some drawings. All right, guys, we're going to start out with our scribble doodle. If you're new to the show, this is how this works. We are going to scribble. There are no rules to this. So I want you to forget anything about this has to be something. I spin mine. You don't have to. I spin mine. And what I want you to do is I want you to look at this for what it can be, not for what it is. And what you're going to do in your scribble doodle is you're going to turn it into something. You don't have to wait for me to do it. I want you just to do this on your own. Just turn this into something. I don't care what it is. It doesn't have to be good. It doesn't have to be bad. It just needs to turn into something. If you want to turn it into more scribbles, that is fine. What we're doing is we are just getting our brain warmed up to make something. That's it. Boom. No time. We're getting it set. We're getting ready. Put some nostrils on there. Sometimes these things work out in a way that you really dig it, and it's really, really awesome. You can do all kinds of different things around there. Totally up to you. Make that doodle just come alive. Just get your mind ready to create something. All right, so today is Wednesday. And on Wednesdays is our what would you do? What we're going to do Wednesdays. And reality is this. I don't have a plan. I don't ever have a plan on Wednesdays because it's kind of creating on the fly. It kind of goes with the whole idea what I talk about being weird and different and all that stuff like that. Now, I asked some people before we started what were some ideas, and one of the ideas that we had was it was a bunny with heart glasses. And how I would like for you to start would be with your paper up and down. Okay? And remember, your drawing is not going to look like mine, and that's perfectly fine. Your drawing is going to look like what you draw like, and that is what we're going for. We're not going for what it looks like to draw just like me, because there is no point to that, because I already draw just like me. So I want you to draw just like you. All right, so what I want you to do right in the middle is you're going to put just a circle like that, but leave those tops open. Just leave those tops open. Okay? And then I want you to put just like, that's a U, if you think about it. That's just an upside down U. And put two of those upside down U's right beside each other. All right? Now, we are going to need to put two hearts, right? Glasses, think about that, right? So I want you to do one half like that. And then the other half, just like that, right? And we're going to do the same thing right beside it. Now, this might be kind of hard, and you might be kind of crunched for space. That's fine. It doesn't have to fit right in that circle. If it needs to overlap, that's okay too. And we're going to draw inside of this to make it look like glasses. We are going to draw parallel lines. Now we know what those mean are lines that run beside another line. So we're going to do that inside of each one. Okay? Just like that. And you're going to do that on both of them. Just like that. All right. This was your idea? That's cool. So we're going to put that little bar spacer between the two, right? And then let's just put some little like lines out. These don't have to look like they're going right over the ears. Who cares? It doesn't have to go right over the ears. It doesn't matter, okay? Now I want you to put just an oval right between there and kind of fill it in. And if you want, you can leave like a little bit of a gap at the top of it, and that kind of just gives it a little bit of a shine. It's up to you. If you want to color it in all the way, that's perfectly fine too. And then I want you to decide on what kind of mouth that you want to put on your rabbit. Excuse me, I had to get a drink. So I had to get a drink, and I feel like I have a sneeze, like right there on the edge of my nose. So, gotta try to figure out how to get that to get through there. But do you want to put a big smile on your rabbit? Do you want to put a little tiny smile? I want you to think about that and just kind of go with it, right? Put your smile you want. I'm going to do like, I think it'd be kind of fun to make a big one. But I want you to do what you want to do on this, okay? And I'm going to put these little thingies at the end. Now, bunnies do have whiskers. And I'm going to put some of those whiskers on the sides. All right. And teeth. So you can do like two teeth like this, or you do one big one. Totally up to you. I'm going to do two like that. That's just like, all that is two U's. And I'm going to put a couple little lines on there just to kind of show the teeth part, right? Now, as far as hair goes, what kind of hair you guys want to put on them? Like, do you want to put some like curly hair or some spiky hair, whatever? Put whatever kind of hair you want in between the ears. I'm going to do something like this because I think it's kind of funny, right? And then you can draw inside those ears just like that. All right. Speaking of bunnies, I have been working on a new book that has a bunny. Like, I've been drawing bunnies all, like this guy right here. I'm working on the third book right now. I have been drawing new sketches for this that I'm almost done with for the third book that I'll be sending in. So I've been drawing lots of bunnies lately, and this is a lot of fun. So the other part we're going to do is let's put a body on. Let's do like a short body. I'm just going to do a short little body like that. And it seems like a bunny like that would have maybe like one arm up and one arm down. And those are just like, if you know, I don't think you need me to show you, right? You just kind of make the arms go any way you want. But I think this bunny would be kind of like dancing, right? It seems like that would be an appropriate thing for this bunny. And to make it look like dancing, you could kind of put one leg up, and you can kind of bend one leg the other way. Kind of have some fun with it, you know, like it's dancing. You can put little, if you want, like little lines on each side. I kind of got crunched running out of space. You can put a little tail there too if you want. You can put music notes. Yeah, music notes would show that there's music playing. So those are like that kind of thing. I don't know what those music notes are called. You guys probably know better than I do. But there's like the double one, and then one with the funky tail, and then the one without the tail. Those are kind of how you would do that. And then I want you just to like, oh boy, got that sneeze. Oh, it's like keeps creeping up. Like it's, oh man, it keeps coming right to the edge, and then it just doesn't go. So then you're gonna draw that kind of stuff like that, and then we're going to like color this guy a little bit. Now, to kind of get a fun idea for the glasses, if you color in, let's say the outside here red, and you guys can color this any colors that you want. I don't want you to feel like you have to color it the same way I do, because you don't. I want you to have some fun doing it your way. Oh, that sneeze is like right there. Just, it's like teasing me. And I'm gonna layer some of my gray right on top of this, okay? And it doesn't have to be perfect, okay? And what I mean by layers, I'm gonna put the gray down. And if you like that, you can just stop right there. You don't have to do any more. But I'm gonna also put, make sure this works, my pink over top of that. Because I want my glasses to be kind of to have pink lenses. So if you see it now, as it's kind of shining through, it's got that cool kind of like, it could be kind of glass-like, right? It could be kind of like, yours looks kind of weird. You know what? Guess what? They're not always great. Like, I don't really think, if I'm being honest with you, let's see who said this. Macy, if I'm being honest, I don't think mine looks that great either. I don't, you know, I'm not like super excited about it. I don't think that, I'm not looking at it going like, wow, this is like the best thing I've drawn. I think it's okay. But here's the thing, like part of practicing and getting better at stuff means that it's not going to be perfect all the time. And it's hard when you want to make something that you really, really like and it doesn't look the way that you want. It could be very frustrating. Like, trust me, I understand that. And a lot of times what I'll do is I will finish anyway. I'll finish doing the one I'm working on, and then I will, as soon as it's done, try to do it again, but this in a different way. And what happens when you do that is all of a sudden you go from like trying something that you feel like failed, and you're starting already knowing how you're going to start this thing. So you kind of come into it knowing a little bit more than what you started with, right? So if we were to draw this again, we would all draw it better because you kind of already know what you're doing to begin with. So you would know where to place things in different spots and all that stuff like that. A lot of times what people make the mistake of, if they fail or if it doesn't work the way that they want, that they just start over from the beginning and they forget everything that they did to get to that point. I think that's a bad idea, because all the stuff that you're doing while you're experimenting with this, and as you're starting to learn all these things while we're doing these classes and stuff like that, are all helping you get better at the thing that you're trying to do. And you're going to learn, as the next time you go to do this, you're going to remember like, oh yeah, I made that bunny and I didn't really like the way it turned out. And then I want you to pay attention to what part of it didn't you like, and where did that happen? So when you get to that point the next time, let's say it was the glasses. So when you get to the point where you make the glasses, you say like, oh, wait a minute. Last time I did the glasses, it didn't look like the way I wanted it to. So what did I do wrong the last time? And then don't do that again. That's how you learn, right? When I started writing books, I didn't know what I was doing, and I started learning where I got stuck at, and I started catching mine in a different way. And I would catch myself and say, instead of like, oh no, this looks bad, I would say like, yeah, but it's better than it was before because I'm getting better each time that I try it. So I'm going to sign my name on this one because I'm going to count that one as done. Yours looks different. Perfect. That's the whole point, right? I want you guys to make sure that you are doing something different each time. It's a trap that I think we can fall in, that you worry about yours looking just like mine. Like, guys, I've been doing this for a really long time. So yours isn't going to look just like mine. That's the beauty of it. I don't want yours to look like mine. I want yours to look like yours because you just made something that's magical out of thin air, right? This didn't exist. Whatever you're looking at right now didn't exist until you picked up a marker or a pencil or whatever you're drawing with and you made that happen. So I want you to take your left hand out and I want you to take your right hand and I want you just to give yourself a pat because you made something. Miss Kapler's class in Albuquerque, New Mexico. What is going on, guys? How's everybody going today? I'm going to bet you that it is much warmer in New Mexico than it is in Ohio right now. Excuse me, I had to get a drink. But in Ohio, we've had frost warnings. It seems like every night. All right, guys, I want you to get a new piece of paper. On that new piece of paper, we are going to make a narwhal. Now, this is what's kind of hard about a narwhal. It seems like it is a super simple character, right? It's basically, if you think about it, like a fish with a horn on it. But there is a really important part to make it look right. And I have struggled sometimes on making this look the right way. So I'm going to be honest. Like this one's harder than it looks. And so let's see. I'm going to get my marker here. And I want you guys to, let's start with this one. Let's turn this one sideways this time. And I want us to make a sideways V, kind of in the corner angle, just like that. Okay? And then let's finish it off. And instead of doing the straight lines, give it a little bit of a wiggle. Just a tiny wiggle, right, in the lines. Just a little tiny wiggle. All right, now let's see. I'm trying to think of it in my head now. Now let's do this back just like this, okay? And I want you to put this little fin right there, right? Okay, now on the bottom part, I want you to draw, and I want you to stop right there. And I want you to draw a line back like that. That's right, Macy. It does look, because we are different, that's what makes it work out pretty well. And go back forward that way. And then one last straight down, just like that. Right? Now, let's put some wave lines, because we're going to put this narwhal like it's in water. Because I think it seems like it should be, right? The last I saw, I've never seen a narwhal walk upright. Have you? I haven't. Maybe. I mean, I guess it's possible. Now, here's what's kind of fun that you can kind of do with when you're making cartoons. Now, I do know logic would say that the narwhal's face, if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do what I call like a sloppy copy, right, for you guys to kind of look at. I'm gonna switch to this one just so. I want you to pause for a second and just watch this and show you. All right, so I can see through the paper. That's how I was able to draw it. So the same, right? So if I flip it, you'll see underneath, right? Right? Okay, so now there's a couple ways you can do this. Now, it's because you're making cartoons, you can put, I'm going to do two different colors so you can see what I'm talking about clearly. So you could do cartoon eyes like kind of close, right? Now, a real narwhal, if you were going to do this, I do know that their eyes would be just one on the side, right? And the other one would be over on this side, okay? You can kind of play it two different ways. I think it's really up to you guys what you would like to do. You can also, if you wanted to make like an eyeball bigger, you could totally do something like that. Or if you wanted to make eyeballs bigger here, you can do something like that as well. I'm going to, I think, put my eyes down underneath it a little bit. Just because I think it makes it look a little more fun, right? And you can do that when you're making cartoons. They don't have to be exactly like what other, what it's like in the real world, right? So I'm going to put 2 down there just like that. And you guys can do whatever you would like to do. It's totally up to you. I got those 2 eyeballs. And I'm going to put like little teeth, because I'll be honest, and maybe one of you guys know, I don't know if narwhals have like teeth, or they're like whales where they like have like those brush teeth. I don't know. So I'm going to draw that, and I'm going to put a little line between there, and I'm going to make my bump, and I'm going to color those in, which I just lost a couple teeth, which is fine. No big deal. Okay. Now, if you want, you could put, if you want to put another fin behind it, like it's waving, that's a cool thing to do, right? And you can kind of put another fin down, up to you. A great other way to kind of show like things are in water is if you kind of do like little water things, and those are just like, just kind of whoop around kind of deals. You could put things like little highlights. Those are like that, just like a little line. So let me pull this up a little closer so you can see it, okay? So just like a little shape, right, that kind of goes around there. You can do all those kind of things like that. If you want to put like a thing, like if you want to show like it's in an island, all those different stuff, you can add those things in the background like this kind of thing and put like smaller waves. So when they're smaller, they look further away. That's a great way of doing this. You can kind of do that, and you can even make that like a little happy little island back there if you want. It could be like, oh my goodness, there's a narwhal. It's so magical. It's like the unicorn of the sea. The horn is actually a tooth. That would be hard to chew on, right? That's good to know. I wonder if like what would happen if your tooth was that big and then you had to go get a cavity filled. Like that would be wild, right? You could put stuff like if you want to put a sun up in the corner, right? You could just make this like a happy little scene if you want. Just add all kinds of fun stuff around here. Kind of fill this whole page up. You made yours unicorn. Great. It's like a unicorn fish, right? I think that's a cool thing. Actually, I guess it's a mammal, so it wouldn't be a fish, right? I think narwhals are mammals. So it is. It's like the unicorn of the sea, right? And we can kind of do some of this stuff like this. So have some fun in here and like make some things that like, you want to put some words in there. Like, seems like to me that the perfect word for like what this scene looks like to me is kind of like happy, right? It could be all kinds of words you can put in there. You can add stuff to this, guys. I want you to really just kind of understand that like when we're making things, if something when we're making it makes you excited, I don't want you to run from that. I want you to go right towards that. If something in there, just because I'm saying, hey, this is what you can draw like, if it's something that you see and it gets you really excited, I want you to go for it. I want you to make this happen and just have fun with it. Because the deal is like, I have no rules. I'll be honest, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just, showing you guys some of the stuff that I do in the hopes that you like it and you have fun with it and stuff like that. So I really don't get caught up in any sort of thinking of like, am I doing this right? I'm having fun making this stuff when we do this show, and I hope that you guys are too. So I don't want you to get caught up on those things. So if inspiration strikes you and you want to like make anything, I want you to go for it, all right? Don't think about it, just go for it. Just like we do when we start the scribble doodles at the beginning. I want you just to kind of go for it, have a good time with it, and don't get caught up on, oh no, mine doesn't look good, or mine doesn't look just like Jason's, or whatever. It's not going to, at all. Like, it just isn't. And that's perfectly fine. So I'm going to put my little kind of finished coloring mine around here a little bit. And this is how I kind of finish coloring. I don't know if you notice, like when if you watch me color at all, I do not get caught up on whether or not like I'm coloring in the lines, or if it doesn't look messy or anything like that. Like I'm not concerned about that. Like I'm just kind of blocking the colors in. Now when I do illustrations for books and things like that, I use stuff like this. I'll do like really quick little like color, they call them color studies, right? I'll do like a little quick color study. I'll be honest, I don't do them a whole lot anymore. When I was first starting, I did a lot of them. And the reason why I would do those is because that way I kind of understood what I was doing, and I knew where to kind of block the colors in, because it allowed me to see where things were going. Now I use a computer on everything that I do, and so when I use the computer, I can change the colors pretty quick, and this will allow me to experiment with different things, so the color studies go a little bit quicker. But this stuff is cool to me because I don't do this as much anymore, so it's kind of fun to make these things. I don't think narwhals are pink. I don't think, but this narwhal is pink. And so I'm just going to do some little things here. You guys can add in whatever to this. Like what kind of things that you want to do. Did yours turn out like mine? Did yours turn out completely different? Did yours like turn out like a unicorn like Macy's did? If so, cool to all of it. I love hearing about how all those things went around and came out and all that stuff like that. So that is our narwhal that we got there. Let me sign my name on here. I think that we got time to do one more today. And I want to do one more with you. And I want to show you. You guys do a trick with me, okay? Now I'm going to trust you guys do this. Get a new piece of paper. I want you to put it up and down, okay? And I want you to get your marker. Now we have been doing this for a bit now. And I think that you guys are ready to try a super creative exercise that you can do with me that doesn't require me telling you exactly what to do. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to take your marker, whether you're right handed, left handed, whatever. And I want you to put your hand on that towards the top, okay? And I want you to close your eyes, all right? Now, I want you to imagine, and I want you to do it, I don't want you to think too much about this, okay? I want you to look at the page the way it is right now, where your hand is on the marker. I want you to picture that in your brain, okay? You don't have to close your eyes yet, but I want you to picture this. So really take a mental picture right now of your hand at the top of this paper holding that marker, okay? And then really focus on it and picture that in your head. All right? And then what I want you to do, once you feel like you have a good picture in your head of what this looks like, I want you to close your eyes, and I want you to just draw without thinking, but just picturing in your brain some sort of something. It does not have to be perfect. I want you to make a shape, and when you feel like that shape is where you want it to be, I want you to lift up your marker and then open your eyes. Okay. So that's what I came up with. What did you guys come up with? Now, again, I've done this before. So this is probably why mine kind of looks like it could be a character. Yours may not look like it could be a character. That's perfectly fine. But what I do want you to do next is I want you to look at that thing that you just made, that shape you just made, just like we do with our scribble doodle. And if you need to spin it, or you got to look at it upside down, or whatever way you got to do it, I want you to figure out by looking at it something. So if you need to look at it for a second and spin it, and you need to turn it upside down, or you need to turn it sideways, that's fine. I want you just to figure out what way it works best for you. Okay? Now, in this, I want you to add 2 eyeballs. Okay? Just 2 eyeballs. You can do eyeballs any way you want. You can do 2 round ones. You can do 1 closed ones. You can do a pirate patch over one. Just make 2 eyeballs. And then I want you to put 2 ears on there somewhere. Any size, any shape, whatever. 2 ears. Now, I really want you guys, if you're struggling with this and thinking it doesn't look like something right now, I want you to let that go. It doesn't matter, okay? All we're doing, this is completely new to you. You maybe have never done it before. I want you just go with me here. Do the best you can. It may not look great. That's okay. I don't think mine looks that great, but I'm going to stick with it. Now that you have the 2 ears, I want you to put 4 teeth. Okay? And you can put those teeth any way that you want. I'm going to do 2 up top. And then, I'm going to do 3 up top. And then only 1 at the bottom. And then we can close that mouth if you want. So you can draw your line in there and kind of fill in the other part of the mouth, right? And, oh yeah, we got to put the little inside. I forgot to do that part. The inside of those, right? Now let's put our eyebrows on there. You can do 2 eyebrows any way that you want. You do big ones, little ones, whatever. I think the big ones are kind of funny, right? To do those. I want you to put 3 spikes down its back. So 1, 2, 3. I made mine 3 different sizes. You can do yours any way that you want too. Again, guys, feel free to be as creative as you would like. Now, I want you to make a big tail on here. Any kind of tail, but let's make it like big tail, right? I can put some spikes on it too. Why not? Make your tail any way that you want to make your tail. It kind of does look like a mouse. It definitely kind of looks like a mouse. I think it's the ears that make it look like a mouse, right? And let's put a nose on your character. So put any kind of nose that you would like on your character. You can do one like this. I'm going to do one like this because why not? Like an oval that you can kind of fill in. And it looks mine even looks more like a mouse now with that nose. And you could put some like freckles or some sort of whatever on there. No, but it's not Mickey. If you're drawing Mickey Mouse, it's all circles. And let's put some legs. I want you to put 2 legs on it. You can do 2 legs like this. Any kind of legs that you want to put on yours. And then make sure you put 2 arms on it. I'm going to do one like that. Put your arms any way that you want, guys. I'm going to put a hook on my one. Okay. And then I'm going to draw like a little thing on the belly too. You can put like, if you want, like if you're drawing something that's kind of like this weird little monster, that you can put like things like this, which will help with like different hairs. If you want to like say that these are ears, you can kind of put some things like this in it. Add some details to your character that makes your character look a little bit more like something, right? Now, as we're wrapping this up, I want to get some colors out here and put some color on this. Here's what I want you guys to think about. You know, as you're working on this and we're starting to wrap up for the day. One of the cool things about this is every time you show up to do Wonder Friends is that you're making something, right? Before you came here today, you haven't attempted to draw any of the things that we've already drawn. Because here's the thing, like the things that we draw in this show, they aren't somebody else's. I just make them up when we're in the show, right? So these really are one of a kind. So you are creating at the same time with me something that's never been created for or created before, done by you. Yeah, I mean, yes, it might be like my character, my help that got you there. But I want you guys to not discount the part that says that you made this. Like, I didn't sit there with you and tell you exactly what to do. I give you ideas, and then you make the choices to make those. So I want you guys to really think about that anytime that you're doubting yourself or anytime that you think that you can't do something. Maybe there's something really hard in school that you don't understand, and that you think that you can't do it, and you'll say stuff to yourself like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not good enough for this. I don't understand this, all that stuff like that. I want you to take all those times that you say that and think about these things, because I guarantee you, unless you have a parent that does things like in the creative world, if you ask your mom or dad to draw with you or draw these things, sometimes what they'll say is like, I can't draw anything more than a stick figure, or I can't even draw a stick figure. I hear that so much. But here's the thing. Just trying. You may not know how to do all of it, but just trying makes you guys already braver than a lot of adults. Trust me, I know this. I talk to adults about the same stuff that we're doing right now. And some of them get so scared to try things because trying new things is kind of scary. So I want you guys to really think about all the stuff that you're learning here isn't just about how to draw things. I want you to take some of these things and apply them to other stuff, other things that you're doing right now in your life. Maybe it is, doing this homeschool stuff is kind of scary and you feel like you can't do it and stuff like that. Like all this stuff, I want you to apply these things because you are doing all this stuff and you're proving to yourself every day that you're able to do more than you think that you can. So that is, I don't know what this guy is. He's like a pirate mouse dinosaur thing. But remember, this started with our eyes closed, right? We pictured it in our brain. Okay, now what I want you to do is think about this. If you picture that in your brain, what else could you picture in your brain? Wednesday is all about embracing our weird dreams, embracing all this stuff that's different about ourselves. How does that apply to anything that you want to chase? I want you to think about that as we end the show, wrap it up, that all those weird things that are twisting around your head of what you want to grow up to do and you don't know how to do it and all that stuff like that, learn how to start picturing them in your brain. Focus on those in your brain. Maybe you are like me and you want to write books when you get older, right? You want to be able to do stuff like this kind of stuff, right? Picture it in your brain that one day I'm going to go into a store and I'm going to hold a book that is mine, right? And you're going to do this. This is the secret. This is what all I did was I just dreamed about this stuff and I was weird enough to chase it and not let other people tell me I couldn't do it. That's the key, guys. And I want to remind you guys the importance of being a unicorn. Just because we are stuck inside does not mean that you can't sprinkle your magic on somebody else's day. Take some of these drawings and give them to your parents, give them to your neighbors, or give them to the mailman or whatever. Go drop them somewhere to make somebody smile and make their day. Super simple. That's the power of being a unicorn. And also, you in there, you right there. I want you guys to know that you are amazing just the way you are. You don't have to change anything about yourself. You don't have to be something that you're not just because other people might say you're weird. Embrace your weirdness. Celebrate your differences, and that is what makes magic happen. All right, guys, I will see you tomorrow. Let's see. Tomorrow is It's Thursday already? I'll see you tomorrow at 2. Have a good night. See ya.